does that even mean, Bowers getting the quarterback?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again for another episode of Games In, Games Out, where I talk about games that are going into my collection, going out of my collection, or somewhere in the middle. And we're going to start off today with Coda, the sensational code-breaking game, which I recently reviewed, and it's not sensational. It starts off as an okay to good game, and then it quickly falls apart at the end, and you realize that the game is broken because you have perfect information at the end of the game. There's a reason why you've never heard of this game, and that's because it sucks. So this one is going to my classroom to be given away to a child. Another game that's going to be given away to a child is Sorry, the card game. All the fun of the classic game. I disagree. That's the word. Yes, I like the original Sorry better. I like Shaken Sorry better. I like Sorry Sliders better. Yeah, I like all those games better. This one, it's just too light. It's too simple. It's an okay children/family game for kids ages 6 to 10. But other than that, can't really recommend it. There's a reason why you probably haven't heard of this game either. Yeah, there's a card game. It's okay. Continuing on with a game that's not okay, that's actually pretty good. That is Sherlock, the game where memory and deduction are elementary. Very simple memory game where you're going to be trying to move this card, the Sherlock card, all around the circle of things and have to remember the cards in the middle. It's not my cup of tea, really, because, you know, I'm not that good at memory games, but it's actually a fun memory game. The kids really enjoyed it, so this one's going in my classroom. I'll play it with my son, and it's a good memory game. So that one I will be keeping in my classroom. Another game that's going into my classroom, but honestly, if I ever got fired for, I don't know, laundering money or something, would stay in my collection, is Grumph from Le Boit the Jew at Dude Games. Really enjoyed this real-time sort of racing game where you're going to be putting all your Grumps onto these different spots on boards, trying to collect different sets of animals in order to gain points at the end. I really enjoyed this game as a light, simple, real-time game. It's fast, it's easy to learn, it's easy to teach. The people I played it with, the adults I played it with, didn't like it as much as I did, but the kids really like this one. It's a great family game, and I think a great lightweight filler game if you like lighter games at your game night. One that I'm going to be keeping, that is Grump, into my collection. Next game that is going to be going to a child somewhere is Avalanche from Parker Brothers. And this game looks cool. It's got these marbles and this really neat three-dimensional board. It's a good box insert, but unfortunately the gimmick does not work. And when a gimmick in a game doesn't work, well, the game doesn't work. And the problem with this one is marbles will get stuck on the side and they get jammed up, and then it's not a fun game because it doesn't work. We actually had to house rule it to make it so that the game was pulling marbles out once they got jammed inside. So unfortunately, this game, it just doesn't work. And yes, I know you're wondering, hey, maybe it's just your copy of the game because it's old as dirt. And I looked online and other people had the same issue with the game. So Avalanche, cool concept. It's like Plinko the game, but with tic-tac-toe kind of, because you have to get certain colors, but it just doesn't work. So it's going into my collection. Some kid will get it, most likely just for the marbles, because there's a whole bunch of marbles in there. Another game that's going into my classroom, but I'm actually going to keep it in there, is Roll and Score Dice Derby game. I enjoyed this one for what it is. It's a incredibly simple, incredibly 100% luck-based game where you're going to roll dice, and you're hoping to get yourself around this racetrack by having, essentially having to do very simple addition. And for kids ages 5, 6, 7, 8, the simple addition is fantastic. And I'm going to keep it in there mostly as an educational tool to help kids work on their very simple addition skills and just getting that muscle memory. The 5 plus 2, you shouldn't have to count it out. Shouldn't have to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just 5 plus 2, well, that's 7. Oh, 2 plus 3, that's 5. And that's why I'm going to be keeping this game. Also, I did enjoy it. It's a fun, simple, completely luck-based race game. It's not amazing, but I think it's okay to good. Next, we have Munchkin Shakespeare Deluxe. If you watch my channel, you know I'm a fan of Munchkin. However, this one, not for me. And it's not a fault of the game. It's aimed at people who are Shakespeare fans and fans of plays and the theater and the art, and that's just not me. So I'm actually going to be giving it to one of the people I played it with who really enjoyed the sense of humor, whereas for me, whew, a lot of the humor went over my head. So Munchkin Shakespeare Deluxe, definitely not a version of Munchkin that is for me, and as such, I'm not going to be keeping it in my collection. Next, we have Scotland Yard, the classic game of deduction. Went back, revisited this. The kids in my classroom ate it up. They really enjoyed it. But for me personally, I hadn't played this game in like 4 or 5 years, you know, and it just doesn't do enough. It's just too little, because really this game is one of the first hidden movement games where you're playing as Mr. X trying to get away from Scotland Yard, the police, and that's it. There's just not enough meat on the bones. I'd rather play Spectre Ops or Fury of Dracula or a game like that that has that mechanism, but more. But for In My Classroom, the kids really enjoyed it. They really like playing as Mr. X and trying to hunt down Mr. X. So this one's going to be In My Classroom, and that is pretty much where it's going to stay. Last but not least, we have the Kingsburg 2nd Edition. This one has all the expansions in there, and I think an even extra one. And this is going immediately into my collection. And leaving my collection is actually my original version of Kingsburg. I don't have it with me. I gave it to a buddy of mine Kingsburg is actually his favorite game of all time, so I was really happy to be able to give that to him. So Kingsburg, out of my collection, Kingsburg 2nd Edition into my collection, and it's a fantastic re-implementation of Kingsburg. It's the exact same game, but it has all the expansions from the To Forge a Realm and plus a little bit extra more. It's got better dice that don't have the rounded edges, because the original rounded edges just rolled everywhere. The dice rolled everywhere. The only thing that I don't like about this new version of the game is the artwork sucks. Like, let's just be brutally honest here. Let's level. It's terrible. I slammed them in the review for this one, but I'm still pretty sure I gave it a Bauer's Best deal, because gameplay-wise, it's still Kingsburg, which is one of my top 100 games of all time. So Kingsburg 2nd Edition, despite the fact I hate the artwork, this is the version of Kingsburg that you're going to want. The next game is Funky Chicken card game from Happy Planet. It's a spin-off of North Star Games, and this is a standalone game / expansion to Happy Salmon, which is an absolutely amazing party / family / children's / just being silly game. This one adds new things that you can add to it. It's great as an expansion, and I can't wait until they come with a second version of this so you can play it up to 12 players. So I definitely recommend this one. I will still say I like Happy Salmon a little bit better, but this one gets you up and moving, so I kind of like this one a little bit better for that aspect. Either way, immediately into my collection and immediately into my classroom. Another game from the same line, the new Happy Planet line that has cool little bags like this, is Monster Match Game. This one's also going into my collection as a children's game / family game. It's not as good as Funky Chicken or Happy Salmon, and it's going to be staying in my classroom. And it's a really simple speed matching game, and it's okay. I thought it was good. The kids really enjoyed it. They like the packaging. They like the monsters. So that reason, I am going to be keeping it. If you have kids, this is one that I think they'll enjoy up until about the age of 11 or 12, and then they'll get bored with it. Next, we got Sunset Over Water from Pencil First Games LLC. This is a lightweight filler game. Goes 1 to 4 players, 20 minutes. Really enjoyed it. Fantastic components, great rules, easy to learn, easy to teach. Gateway game, yes. Filler weight game, yes. It's got enough meat on the bones that I enjoyed it as a game night filler weight game. And family game, yes, as well. The kids in my class really enjoyed it. So this one going into the collection. It's going to start off in my classroom, see if it gets played, but eventually I think it is going to make its way home as a filler weight game. So, adding this game into the collection about this size means I gotta get rid of a smaller one. And this one we have here is Battle of the Bands, a rock and roll card game. And it's an okay game about forming a band. I actually have not technically reviewed this game, but I did do a Kickstarter review of the game that is this game, but with more bells and whistles. They redid the game. The Kickstarter, I think, failed. And I thought it was a good game. And I think I actually gave it a review, but it's never gotten played since then, and I just don't ever see it getting played now. So, because I'd have to go back and read the rules, and yeah. So this one, out of the collection, no hesitation there. Jungle Speed! Think Fast. This is one of actually the first games that I ever got when I got into the hobby. I got it at Goodwill for $1, and I was like, oh my gosh, a hobby game for $1? And I love this stinking game. I've played it probably 50 to 100 times. I don't know why I didn't review it before now. But I finally got around to reviewing it. It's a fantastic family weight game. Absolutely recommend this one. Fantastic party game. Fantastic. It's a chameleon game. It goes into a lot of different situations, and it's never fallen flat for me. It is a speed game, a matching speed game where you're going to try to reach in the middle and grab the totem as fast as you can. It's silly. It's funny. And it's a really great game. It's going into my classroom, but I would actually like a copy for at home and for in my classroom. Jungle Speed, yes, 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 yes. Going straight into my classroom and going to be a game that I have in my collection forever. Like, that is one of those games that I will always have. The next one we have is Stupid Name Sword Art Online board game. Sword of Fellows from Japan Make Games. Yeah, such a stupid name. It is a very simplistic game where you're going to be trying to beat level 1, level 2, level 3, so you can upgrade your character and get more powerful and defeat bosses. I thought it was a good game. I am not the target demographic. It's based on an anime or a video game or something like that. I'm not the demographic by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know the original IP. I don't like anime, but I still think it's a good game. It's got good components. The rules were pretty well done, which I liked. And I put it like this in the review. Do you know what Sword Art Online board game Sword of Fellows is? If the answer is no, then I don't recommend this game to you. If the answer is yes, and you don't play many hobby games, I can recommend this game. If you do play a lot of hobby games, I think this might be a little bit simplistic for you. But still, this is one that I thought was good, irregardless, but still not one I'm going to keep. Next, we have The Simpsons Don't Panic, the game of manic multitasking mayhem, which, man, I was excited for this game. It has fantastic components. It's got this big nuclear power plant thing that you stand up in the middle of the table, and there's a 60-second timer that you put on top of it, and everybody's turn is actually timed, but there's ways that you can add more time by going to certain spots, and you have to do silly stuff. It's kind of like Quellfish, where it's like, all right, lay down, or act like a monkey, or do this, or spin this top and keep this thing spinning, or stack stuff up, or do a puzzle. It's kind of like a whole bunch of mini games, and it sucks. And there's one big reason why this game sucks, and the biggest reason why this game sucks is because, well, there's actually two big reasons. First, they don't properly use the Simpsons IP, and it just feels slapped on there, which is a bummer because I love the Simpsons. But the second reason why, and this is without a doubt the biggest reason, is that you can win on your first turn. And I did. I won on my first turn when I actually went first, which means nobody else got any turns. Boy, howdy. Isn't that fun, kids? The game's going to last about 5 to 10 minutes tops, and it's just... No. RoseArt, you suck at making games. You suck at making games. You suck at making games. So this one, unfortunately, out of the collection. Still looking for that great Simpsons game, which is probably never going to come. Next, we got Village Pillage. This one is on Kickstarter right now, or it just got off Kickstarter, depending on when I put this video up. It is a really cool, I'd say it's a great game. It's a light, filler-weight game. It has an interesting mechanism that I really like, where you have a little city, and you are competing with the people on your left and the people on your right. You're going to play a card to your left and a card to your right, and then you're going to you're flip over those cards and see what happens. You might steal from them, and you might, you're going to get more cards, so you can kind of upgrade your cards, aka getting more cards. You can attack other people. It's really light. It's a filler weight game. I enjoyed it, though. It played well at the different player counts, the higher player counts, I should say. Wasn't the biggest fan of it at the lower player counts, but I still liked it at the higher player counts. I thought it was a great filler weight game. Also a great family game. That is Village Pillage right now on Kickstarter, or it was just on Kickstarter. Definitely one you might want to check out if you're in the market for a filler weight game or a family weight game. Oh, but what am I doing with it? It's a prototype, so I'm going to be getting rid of it, but when he eventually sends me the final copy of the game, I will keep that one, because I did enjoy the game that much, and the artwork is absolutely gorgeous. Next game, Uno Stacko. This is a very simple Jenga variant with Uno rules. It's okay. There's two different versions, one with a dice, one without a dice. I like the one with a dice better, and I'm not going to keep it. It's not spectacular. I'm actually going to give it away to a kid in my classroom who has good behavior, as are many of the games that I'm about to cover. Next, we have Lotus. This one actually has a soft spot in my heart. I really enjoy this game. It's a good abstract strategy game. It's one of the first games I ever reviewed. It's one of the first games I ever got, but it's collecting dust. It's sitting on my shelf. I haven't played it in years, and I need to get rid of good games that I like, that I don't play, for great games, and that is, unfortunately, the nature of doing this. Next, we have Overboard, and this game is another prime example of don't build your game on a gimmick if the gimmick doesn't work. This is an abstract strategy game with a gimmick where you're sliding pieces off the board, but what happens is when you slide the pieces, they all get jammed up, and they pile up, and you get frustrated, and you get annoyed, and hence, God, make sure your gimmick works very, very well when you make a game, because a good to okay game turns into a bad game very, very quickly, which is the case with Overboard. Next, we have Feudalia from ABBA Games. This one is going immediately into my collection, and this is a game that, man, I could see it leaving my collection because I don't get a chance to play it, but I really want to put a concerted effort to getting a chance to play this once every month or two, because holy moly, this is an absolutely fantastic deck-building game. Deck-building, resource management, very thinky, very crunchy, the kind of game where after you play it, you're like, okay, my brain's done. Let's turn it off. Let's play something super simple, which I love games like that. So this one's actually going in the spot where Lotus used to be because I had a little extra room there. So Feudalia into the collection. definitely, this one's under the radar. Give it a shot. It's a very cool deck building, resource management game. Lots of variability as well. No expansion needed. Next we have Pictureka. Find it fast, find it first. I was very skeptical. This is from Parker Brothers. This is essentially just a giant game of I Spy. But I'll tell you what, the kids in my class went absolutely nuts for this game. If you see it in a thrift shop, pick it up if you got kids. They're going to have a lot of fun with it because it's just a really quick I Spy game. I'm going to be putting it into my classroom to play with the kids because they went nuts with it. It has no player count. You can play this with 10 players, 12 players, 15 players. You probably, realistically, you probably want to keep it between 3 to 12. But if you have a round table and everyone can actually see the board, then yeah, Pictureka. Great family game. Really enjoyed that one going into my classroom. Next we have Triple Yahtzee, which is a Yahtzee killer. That being said, I'm not keeping it because I don't actually have the original Yahtzee because I think Yahtzee's a good game. I don't think it's a great game. I have fond memories of Yahtzee, but Triple Yahtzee is a fancier version of Yahtzee. It's got like this fancy little thing where you can roll the dice, and it's got a fancy score pad. But the big thing with Triple Yahtzee is the fact that it's essentially just like playing Yahtzee 3 times, and then you can make your scores count for regular or double or triple points. So it's only for hardcore Yahtzee fans, but here's why it kills Yahtzee, because you can play regular Yahtzee with Triple Yahtzee. So in a nutshell, get this over regular Yahtzee if you ever have that odd choice, because you can play Yahtzee with it, or you can play the Triple Yahtzee, which is actually a pretty cool game if you have the time and you don't mind investing an hour into Yahtzee. Next we have Cross Track, which is, I believe in my review I said it quite perfectly, the most aggressively mediocre game. One of the most aggressively mediocre games I've ever played. It is just purely okay. I don't ever see anyone saying this is a great game. I don't ever see anyone saying this is a terrible game. It's just so middle of the road okay, and they just decided to make it okay and leave it to be okay. And also, the components, the board is really sharp and jagged. So I think I ended up saying in the review, you could really hurt somebody with it. Like if I were going to go to prison, this would be the game I would want because no one would suspect it, and I could just rip somebody's face off or something like that. As you can see, I'm going off on a tangent. It's not that good. 2 to 4 players, a very boring abstract strategy game. Out of my collection! Next we have Happy Bunny from Blue Orange Game. This is for ages 3+. I play it with my 2.5-year-old, who's not the brightest 2.5-year-old. I like to keep it honest on Bowers Game Corner. My first kid, very, very smart at 2.5. My second kid, not nearly as intelligent as 2.5, which makes it making games makes playing games with them very difficult. But this game, he had a lot of fun with it, and essentially is just pulling carrots out of a garden and then putting them side by side with other carrots that are the farmer's carrots to see who has the longest rows of carrots. It works on a lot of crucial skills for children aged 3 to 6 or 7 years old. And if you have kids in that age range, especially at the bottom of that age range, definitely recommend Happy Bunny. This one's going into my collection. I don't have to make any room for it because I have a small selection of games for kids that are 2, 3, 4 years old, so I'm glad to have this one in my collection. Very cool game. Happy Bunny. If you got young kids, definitely check that one out. Next we have Up for Grabs, the frantic family game of Frenzied Fingers. And this I did not expect much out of this. So essentially there's going to be this little mechanized board in front of you, and then you're going to spin the thing in the middle. Actually, I can get it out. So you spin this doodad right here, and then it makes that really beautiful noise that we all love. And then these pieces are going to go up and down. And if it is your color piece, you're going to quickly grab it, flip it over, and then it will go to someone else's piece. And your job is to get rid of all your pieces, and then you win the game. I did not expect much out of this game, but I will tell you, the kids in my class absolutely love this game. From ages 5 to 11, they really stinking enjoyed this game. It gets requested. It's going straight into my classroom to play with the kids. As much as I'd like to give it away, this is a great game to play with very young kids. I'd say ages 4+ can understand and play the game. There's going to be a big skill difference between ages 4 and age 11, so you do have to account for that. But Up for Grabs, if you find it at a thrift store and you have young kids, I really enjoyed this game. No batteries required either, which is always a good thing. So that one's going into my classroom. Next, we have Pool Party. Jump in for a swim, stay in for the win. This is a really simple Ants in Your Pants variant, where essentially you're going to have the swimming pool, which kind of looks like a bowl, and it's going to be woggling back and forth because it's on a spring. Yeah, it's kind of odd. And then you're going to have your little swimmers, and you are going to be trying to get your swimmers into the pool, a la Ants in the Pants style. I'll give you a quick example. So, you're going to get your little swimmer, you're going to do this, and then you're just going to, hey, try to get your swimmer into the pool. And it's fun, ages 6+. I think you play with a 4 or 5-year-olds pretty easily, even though they might get a little bit frustrated and there's going to be a skill curve. But yeah, this one's going into my classroom / at my house because my son really enjoyed it. The kids in my class really enjoyed it. It's a pool party. Another hit from Blue Orange Games. Went over really well with the family and the kids in my class. Next, we have Battleship Command, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. That's a really stupid name. And this is a Battleship variant. And I like Battleship. I grew up with Battleship. I still have a soft spot in my heart for Battleship. And I gotta tell you, when I first started to play Battleship Command, Pirates of the Caribbean's Dead Man's Chest, whatever the hell this game is, I was very excited. It has some gamery aspects to the game where you are going to have ships, and your ships will have unique special abilities, and your opponent might not have those unique special abilities. Yeah, asymmetrical powers that you draft at the beginning of the game. You draft them at the beginning of the game, and you're like, what? Asymmetrical abilities and drafting in Battleship? What the hell? Why haven't I heard of this game? And the reason is because they just came up with this cool idea and then they didn't fully pan it out. And then you realize that there's only really 2 ships in the entire game that are different or unique, and most likely you and your other person can have the exact same ships. And they pretty much took this amazingly cool idea that they could have ran with, and this could have been a battleship that I keep in my collection forever because it's such a cool idea, and instead they just took a giant dump on it, and it's crap. I mean, it's still a fun game, it's still Battleship with special abilities, but they added so much bad stuff and they didn't flesh out the ideas, and this just turns into a hugely disappointing game that I'm going to give away to some kid in my class. Like, I want to stress here, when I read the rules to this game, I was hyped. I was super hyped. Asymmetrical drafting, yes, but they ended up ruining it, which is unfortunate. Next, we have Tubaruma, the body action game, which, wow, this is a really weird game where you wrap this giant tube around your body. It's probably about 10 to 12 feet long, and then you contort your body to get a marble through that tube. And you do it either in timed or tournament, or you can work together as 2 people and wrap tubes around both your bodies. It's a very interesting game idea, and surprisingly it went over incredibly well as a children's game, as a family game, and yes, as a party game. And it's a great game. I'm just shocked as you are. I really enjoyed the game. I played it at a party. It went over really stinking well. I played it in my classroom. It went over really stinking well. My son really enjoyed it. So Tubaruma, if you can find this at a thrift shop, yes, pull the trigger if you're looking for a children / family / party game that's definitely off the beaten path.